Hey everyone, Chounji here, and I'll be giving you a quick rundown of all the bosses in Turn 1 of Binding Coil Bahamut. Now the first boss is ADS. ADS has a low health pool, cannot be stunned, but can be silenced, so keep that in mind. He also only uses 3 skills throughout the entire fight, the first one being High Voltage. High Voltage is a room-wide AoE that does moderate lightning damage and paralyzes anyone that's hit. Now, High Voltage should always be silenced. I suggest bringing 2 silencers to make it easier on the raid. His next skill, Repelling Cannons. Repelling Cannons is a melee ranged AoE that does moderate to high damage to anyone caught in its vicinity. And his last skill, Piercing Laser. Piercing Laser will target one individual in your raid, and after a few seconds, cast the laser. Now, this actually has a cast range, so it may cause ADS to move towards that target. ADS also summons adds throughout the fight, which spawn at the entrance of this room. Every 40 to 60 seconds, he'll spawn an ad. These ads have only 2 skills. One's an auto attack, and one's a small ranged AoE. This AoE is cast extremely fast, so it's difficult to avoid. These ads actually hit harder than the boss, between 1500 to 2500 damage a hit. Now, if these ads get too close to ADS, it will cause a tether to be between them. After a short time, he will consume this ad, which will restore some of his health and also give him a damage buff. Now, if you get too many of these ads close to ADS, it will make ADS too powerful and he'll start one-shotting your tanks, so be very aware of that. The last mechanic of this fight is the clicks. At the beginning of this fight, it tells you that there's 4 clicks until completion. This is basically an enrage timer, and each tick counts for 1 minute. So if you don't kill ADS within 4 minutes, he will enrage and start hitting you for unhealable damage. So you must kill ADS before this. Other than that, ADS is a pretty simple fight, and the only thing you need to be extremely aware of and focused on is silencing all high voltages. Otherwise, it may cause a raid wipe. Congratulations for killing ADS. However, he was only a gate guard for the true boss of Turn 1, Caduceus. Now, the first thing you need to know about Caduceus is that once you pull him, the path you came in on and the path at the rear of the room will begin to glow. If you stand on these paths, you will start to bleed for 500 to 600 damage a tick, so try to avoid standing on this altogether. Caduceus has an awkward frontal AoE cone attack that's about 180 degrees. This attack is called Hood Swing. So for a melee DPS trying to do flank moves, I highly suggest staying to the rear of his flank to avoid this damage. Caduceus also has a rear attack called Tail Swipe. Melee DPS trying to do rear moves can simply move to the rear, do their attack, and move directly back to the flank to avoid this attack. Tail Swipe can actually also be used defensively, because once it's activated, Caduceus will not be attacking the tank for its entire charge time. Caduceus also starts spitting acid balls at random targets throughout the entire fight. This does small damage and slows the target, so just move out of it as soon as possible. Now, Caduceus will start gaining stacks upon himself, which increases damage. This can stack up to 8 times. If he gets to 8 stacks, Caduceus will start one-shotting people within your raid. The way you avoid this is Caduceus will gain a stack upon himself and make platforms start glowing. People who stand on the platform, once the platforms stop glowing, will gain an ad. This ad will only attack the person it was spawned upon, so tanks cannot take it off of them. These ads slow the target and also hit them for a decent amount. However, you need to be extremely careful, because if you move too far away from these ads, they will explode, doing massive damage to the entire raid and more than likely wiping you. Once you get one of these ads, however, you need to get it to approximately 15% health, and then feed it to Caduceus to get rid of one of its stacks. The reason you want to get it to such low health is because if you feed it at full health, Caduceus will eat it and gain massive amount of life back. By making it low health and feeding it to Caduceus, he will get a much smaller amount back. About 66%, Caduceus will split in half. At this point, the main tank needs to run his Caduceus to the opposite side of the room, and the off tank will take the new Caduceus and start gaining aggro. At this time, Caduceus will do less damage, however he still gains stacks. You need to make sure that the main tank and the off tank keep the 2 Caduceuses at least 2 of these platforms away, is what we like to do for safety. If Caduceus is too close to one another, they will recombine and start gaining stacks at an accelerated rate with no wait in between. He'll get to 8 stacks and start one-shotting people. What you need to do is, after you split them and get them far apart, what we do in my raid is we put all the DPS except for one of the melee DPS on the main tank's Caduceus to get him low enough. The reason we keep one player DPS on the off tank is so that he can keep getting tail swipe up to reduce the damage on the off tank. During this time, you can get slimes to reduce the stacks on your tanks if you don't have enough DPS to kill these Caduceus before they get to 8. What we like to do is we'll grab a slime if we have the opportunity, but we don't grab it if it's too far away. Once you get the first Caduceus that the main tank has low enough, around 10%, we will switch to the next Caduceus. The reason we do this is because if you do not kill the 2 spawns at approximately the same amount of time, at the same time, or 10 to 15 seconds maximum, the Caduceus will enrage and start getting stacks extremely fast and one-shotting everyone in your raid once again. As you can see, what I'm doing right now is I give the final spawn to the main tank's Caduceus so that he has low enough stacks once we switch, so he doesn't get too much damage.
I'm gonna grab you one though, and then we'll switch. Hey guys, switch.
As soon as I feed the spawn to Caduceus, I switch directly to off tanks, and my raid just blows this Caduceus up. You want to kill this as fast as possible because the main tank is still gaining stacks and has the Caduceus much longer than off tank will. Once you kill this off tank's Caduceus, switch back and use your limit break on the first Caduceus to instantly kill him so you don't have to worry about him enraging at the 10 to 15 second mark. Well, that's about it for this fight. I'll see you guys in turn 2. Enjoy the rest of the fight.
I put virus on Valdez.
I'm gonna go with the other one right now. Good job.
Nice.
Go Dragoon.
And Dragoon belt.
Let's find out.
Give it up, woot woot. Oh shit!
Oh, nice.
Oh shit! Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, and comment for more of your favorite Dragoon, Chounji.